Good evening and welcome into the Mafia Cast, brought to the fans by the fans, and this is your one-stop shop for all things Bills every single week. Now here are your hosts, Mike Yanni, Ronnie Eastham, and Casey Ceda.
Hi, Bill.
What's going on, Bills Mafia? Welcome to another edition of the Mafia Cast. It is a fantastic victory week. I'm here with Casey. How you doing, Casey?
Good. We both just survived not being muted. I thought I was just about to have to fight the button, but apparently I'm going to win this week. So hopefully that means the Bills are going to win this week again.
It definitely means that the Bills are going to win this week. Yeah, what a game, first of all. Let's just jump into that because I can't remember. I mean, I guess the last time I watched a game that was that much fun was probably the Patriots playoff game a few years back.
Yeah, I mean, there was no stress at all. Like, I mean, it was so much fun to just sit back and be like, I really don't care what happens because I know no matter what, like, we're not going to lose this football game. Like, so it was cool to – my favorite part was, like, Josh just being, like, spreading it around. Like, one dude didn't score, like, 3 touchdowns. Like, I mean, obviously, like, that's always cool too. But it was cool to see, like, Coleman get his, and then Kincaid and Shakir and Ty Johnson. Like, it was – and Ray Davis and James Cook. Like, it was just so cool to me, like, to see – that was the game, I mean, that they've been preaching. Everybody eats, and like literally everybody ate. 10 different players caught a pass.
Yeah, 10 different players. What was it? Five different touchdowns? 6? 5?
Shakir, Cook, Davis,
Coleman,
Johnson. All right, the 3 running backs, Keon, Kincaid.
And Coleman. Oh, you said Keon, never mind.
Keon, Kincaid, and Shakir, 6.
Yeah, that's what I thought. That's wild. That is just crazy to me. And that's the kind of, I think, the recipe that we can expect for this whole season. I do think there will be some games here and there, maybe where 1 or 2 guys will have to maybe step up and take the bulk of the work, because of the way that the defense dictates things. But that's the beauty of this offense and this team right now is it doesn't really matter what they do, what opposing defenses do. Buffalo's got an answer for it.
I mean, that's what happens when you have Josh Allen. You can I don't remember what podcast I was listening to, but they were talking about like how annoying it's got to be for defensive coordinators. Like, they're like, I called the perfect play. You know, we completely locked down every receiver, and Josh just ran for 30 yards. Like, or we kept him contained, you know, and then he broke the pocket. Everything was tight. Then he, like I said, then he broke the pocket and he tossed one down the field for 30 yards. Like, it's got to just be so annoying and so frustrating. Like, I mean, like, we know what it's like in a video game. We can't even play like college football on Heisman mode. It's too hard. Like that's what it's like for these defensive coordinators. They're like, when they're just playing Heisman like in real life, because they have to go against Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen. He's just on a different level right now, and it is so much fun to watch.
Yeah, it is. And let me read these stats to you really quick. When Josh Allen is blitzed this year so far, he's 19 of 25, 293 yards, 6 touchdowns. None of the blitzes resulted in a sack. I saw that, and my first thought is this. Number one, the kryptonite of a quarterback, right, is pressure. But if you can't get that pressure, you have to resort to blitzes. Now, there are certain quarterbacks, Josh Allen, that excel against the blitz. And this isn't anything new. He's always been good against it. But this, to me, almost feels like next level. And you think about it like this. If a team can't get pressure with their front four, our offensive line, we'll talk about that in a minute, but our offensive line has been fantastic. Can't get pressure with their front four. So that means Josh just sits back there and just shreds your secondary. Okay, let's bring the blitz. We got to get pressure on Josh Allen. Okay, we brought the blitz. Oh crap! Now he's running outside and he's still hitting Khalil Shakir or Kincaid in the back of the end zone for 6. I don't know how you stop this team right now. We've talked about it in years past a lot of times where we've said that the only team that can beat the Bills is the Bills. And I don't I keep beating that cliche, but it really feels like that this year. I don't know how a defense can stop them.
I mean, Josh has been surgical, and that's because of Joe Brady. Well, a reason because of that is Joe Brady. I mean, he has done a fantastic job calling plays this year. Like it, I swear, the last couple of years, I've been able to basically call out where the ball is going to go before it's snapped. As a couch fan, I shouldn't be able to do that. Like just
Yeah.
as a regular fan. I mean, how many times last year, when Dorsey was around, did we run that halfback draw? I mean, probably 40 times in the first 3 games, 4 games. It was insane. And you could just tell just by alignments and situationally, like the ball was going to go to Diggs or the ball was going to go to Davis. Like you could just tell. And this year, you can't tell because you're going to take away Shakir. He has Mac Hollins and Keon Coleman. You're going to take away Dalton Kincaid. He has Khalil Shakir and Curtis Samuel. You're going to drop 8 guys in pass defense. Okay, we're just going to run it with James Cook, who at this point in his career has proven me right in the fact that he can pound it between the tackles and we'll just win the game that way. We have no problem doing that, i.e. Dallas and Miami. So it's just one of those, like, the defensive coordinator is going to have to be in his bag, and like their whole team is just going to have to, like, defenses are going to have to play lights out right now because Josh in the offense isn't doing anything insane, to be honest. Like they're
Yeah.
really not. Like they're just playing sound, good, clean, sound football. They're not beating themselves. They're not calling. Josh isn't having the turnovers. Wide receivers aren't dropping the ball. Defense is playing well. That's a recipe for a lot of wins.
Yeah, it is. First of all, Kay says hi. She's one of our regulars over on Facebook. She comments quite a bit on some of our stuff there. Roy, he says, and Dorsey's doing such a great job in Cleveland now.
Yeah.
And
Well,
the sarcasm there.
he's dealing with a bit of a handicap with Deshaun Watson. I mean, that's where I can give him a break to where his running backs are, Jerome Ford and oh my God, Deontay Foreman, who they signed off the street. He's got an old version of Amari Cooper, Jerry Jeudy, big whoop, and Deshaun Watson. Like that's a recipe for disaster. And their offensive line, the staple of their team, sucks this year. So, like, what do you expect? Deshaun Watson's getting crushed on every drop back he takes.
I commented on Twitter the other day. I'm talking about somebody said, if you're enjoying the Dolphins' demise, you must be a sick blankety blank. So I
Then put me in
responded back and basically saying
hospital.
I must be sick because this is a lot of fun to watch. And I compared the Dolphins' demise. Like, have you seen a greater fall from grace and the preseason hype of the Dolphins? It's almost like watching Deshaun Watson's career just completely tank over the course of the last few years. It's been a lot of, honestly, as far as both go, it's been fun to watch. I don't think there's too many fans of Watson out there, given some of the off-the-field stuff that continue to pop up.
Well, I loved Deshaun Watson. He's the quarterback that I wanted before we had Josh. I was like, he's it. Like he's going to be good. And
he should have been. He was on that trajectory.
He was good. He was phenomenal. Him and Nuck were amazing. And then everything happened. And obviously I'm like, I'm off that wagon. Like, I'm not touching that with a 10-foot pole. And now, I root for that demise because that is what you deserve. Like
1,000%.
Allegedly.
Yeah. Well,
I guess.
We'll go with that.
To stay legal, allegedly.
We've got some people out there on YouTube watching. Hey, if you're watching right now on YouTube, please hit the subscribe button there for us. Turn on the notifications. Facebook, we got a lot of people on Facebook as well. Subscribe, follow us there. We put out content, not just from the podcast, but also written content. Let's talk about a couple of other things with this game. So first of all, we had Javon Solomon got his first career sack, which happened to be a strip sack. You mentioned it, Ray Davis, Keon Coleman, first-time touchdowns, and probably the coolest moment in football that I've seen in a long time was Damar Hamlin getting his first career interception, even though the pass was right to him. And
right. Dude was just in the right spot at the right time. But yeah, I mean, like he did his job. Like he was in the right spot at the right time. And yeah, he caught the ball. Like that's what you ask him to do. You know, when he sees that opportunity. It didn't click for me. Like obviously I understood. I was like, that's huge. That's his first career interception. But it didn't click for me that it was Monday Night Football. And that was his first Monday Night Football game back. So like after I heard that, I'm like, God damn it. That's really freaking cool. I was like that. Yeah. I was like, that's like the icing on the cake for the whole moment. You know, it's awesome. I love seeing stuff go full circle like that. So that was awesome.
Well, and on a night when the Bengals were playing in Cincinnati as well. So
yeah. Oh yeah.
So yeah, the whole thing was kind of cool. Speaking of Cincinnati, I don't want to talk about them per se, but I want to ask you your thoughts on the whole doubleheader, quote unquote, Monday night games. Are you a fan or?
I love it.
You do,
and that's saying something because my wife's a Commanders fan. So you know we had to figure out a way to watch both TVs. Now, luckily, my wife fell asleep. I have to deal with that issue. But, you know, as a good husband, I did, you know, go in the bedroom and turn it on the TV and therefore, so that way when she did decide to go to bed, you know, she could watch the game or fall asleep again, whatever. But I love it. You know, the more football I can get, more often the better. And I don't think anybody missed, you know, missed that one other game on Sunday because there was still plenty. You know, it's not like the week before when there was 3 4:30 games. You know, that sucked. You know, that really sucked. But last week it was 7 and 5, and that's perfect. You know, who cares? You know, I would love to have a second game, and especially, you know, the big difference between you and I, like being on the East Coast, it sucks having a football game start at 8:30 because you know that's not getting over till 11:30. You're not going to bed till midnight because your adrenaline's rushing. If your team is playing, and so like I mean that's the only times that I stay up to watch the whole thing is when the Bills are playing. But like I loved it. You know, kickoff at 7:30. I can deal with 10:30. You know, like I get up early in the morning, but like I'll stay up to 10:30 to watch the Bills. That's no problem. But 11:30 to midnight just sucks.
Well, and I think that's kind of what Roy here is saying. Hates when they did the split screen. Where I'm at with this is I don't mind 2 games on a Monday night. I don't like the fact that they're staggered though, because like you just said, you want as much football as you can possibly watch. Separate the games with different start times, so the one is starting when the other one is ending. So because I didn't watch, I think the Washington game I watched the last maybe quarter of it. Because the Bills game was playing, and then I wanted to watch the post-game stuff with Scott Van Pelt and Louis Riddick. Speaking of which, I have to say this before I forget. You probably don't realize this, nor does Mike, but some of the older fans will remember running back for the Bills back in the 80s. His name was Rob Riddick. He was the starting back for the Bills before Thurman Thomas was drafted. The guy who was doing the Monday night announcement, Louis Riddick, that's his brother. I had no idea. Until Monday night when Lewis actually said that because Van Pelt asked him about the atmosphere in Buffalo and what that's like and everything, and Louis Riddick is like, well, I kind of grew up in this area with this atmosphere because my brother played for the Bills. Like, oh my gosh, no way! And so if you never had a chance to watch Rob Riddick, he was a hard runner. It was actually a lot of fun to watch. He didn't do a lot of dancing. He just ran over people.
No
But I tried to
kidding.
throw it out before I forget.
Old man brain.
Yeah, that's right. I do forget a lot of stuff, so just ask my wife. She'll tell you.
I think they'll all tell us that for each other. Trust me.
Yeah. And speaking of doing all man things too,
Yeah,
yesterday morning.
you got your AARP card.
No, not that old yet.
Mm.
Yesterday morning, I'm making my lunch for work because I drive out to the office, and I needed some shredded cheese. So I grabbed the shredder and I start going to town. It's covered up right now. Let me put it over there. There it is.
Oh my God, Ronnie. Yeah,
Knuckles
yeah,
and a
yeah.
shredder do not work.
Mm. Dude, I swear to God, every time I shred cheese, like the first probably 5 times that I shredded cheese as an adult, I shredded at least one knuckle. So now I sit there and I like hold it like this. And I'm like,
Yeah, I took a big old chunk out of my knuckle. In fact, it's still
oh,
bleeding through the band-aid. But anyways, um, let's get back to the game. We're talking a little bit about DeMar Hamlin and him getting his first interception, the touchdowns, and all right, Mike, that's disgusting. He wants to know if I found the piece of what did you find the piece of eat I or okay. Anyway, back to the game.
this is why he's not on the show.
Yeah. um. So I think one of the nicest things with a game like this is being able to get some of these younger players onto the field. Most notably, one of the guys I wanted to talk about was Dwayne Carter. He got, I think it was 20 snaps in this game. If you look at the PFF grades, it was not a good night. It has not been a good season for him. But number one, defensive lineman typically takes a little while longer to develop in the league. But to be able to get that much playing time in an actual game is huge for some of those guys. And we saw Carter on the field. We saw Kyer Elam on the field, which he had a very limited number of snaps, but if you're just going off of PFF grades, he was second, only to Dorian Williams. But he only had like I think 12 snaps or something like that, so it's a small sample size. But that's huge to get those guys in there.
I mean, but in those 12 snaps, apparently he got injured because he was wearing a
Yeah,
non-contact jersey today.
he got injured because he let that ball hit him in the gut, and it injured him. I was hoping for a pick six, man. That would have just topped off the night for the Bills right there if he could have done that.
Right. I tell you, man, I was so hyped when Javon Solomon got that sack. No, I was hyped in my head, and the first thing I did was I texted you guys in the group, and all I said was everything I repeated on the show. If you want sack production, go draft it. And look at that, his first active game. I understand. It was garbage time, but it was still the starting left tackle for the Jaguars. And yeah, I mean, Mac Jones was a starter every year until this year. I count everything. Like, I mean, that was phenomenal. He put a great move on. It was awesome to see him get his hand out and aim for the ball. He didn't just go for the sack. He went for the football, which is, that's not a straight up rookie thought. Like, that's where, like, he has learned that, like, that's very impressive to me. That's a very veteran move to, still attack the football.
Yeah. Speaking of the injuries too, there's a couple of updates today. Will Clapp was signed to the 53 today. Tylen Grable was added to the IR, so he's out for a month. However, great news: Terrell Bernard returned to practice today, albeit in a non-contact jersey, but still, I think we're getting closer to him and Taron Johnson for that matter. I think I saw Taron was practicing in limited fashion today as well, but I cannot find it to confirm.
I think he was at practice, but he did not practice.
Okay, so I think both of those guys are just around the corner. I would love for them both to get back in time for the Texans game the following week.
I think Terrell will be back for the Texans game. I don't think Taron. I think they're going to keep Taron out through that Texans game.
Taron got injured before the season started, correct?
Nope,
Or early
he
in
got
the first
injured
week.
he got hurt. No, he got hurt like 3 plays in to the first drive.
Yeah. So the fact that they didn't put him on IR tells me that he could potentially be ready for the Texans game. Otherwise, if that wasn't an option, I think they would have already put him in IR. And I'm not sure if the IR is retroactive. Maybe Mike can find that for us. But
it's not.
Go ahead.
No, I was saying it's not retroactive.
Oh, okay.
That'd be nice. That'd be nice.
Yeah, and then because I mean, I guess it kind of makes sense not to allow that because then you can really take advantage of that.
Oh yeah.
But I think Bernard coming back would be big. But this game this week, there's a couple of things. I mentioned a while ago, PFF grades. Dorian Williams was the top grade. I want to say almost, he's like an 88 point something or another. He had 11 tackles. He's got 30 tackles on the season, and he's playing extremely well. Bailey Spector, and this is where PFF grades tend to kind of, you look at them sometimes and you're like, what? His PFF grade for this game, I believe, was a high 40 or low 50s, which is terrible.
Right.
But when you watch the game, it doesn't look that bad. Like I'm sure there's moments where he's out of position or misses something, and a lot of that is going to come with experience. But he plays hard, and
he was great.
Yeah, I don't remember seeing a moment like, oh, well, that was totally on Spector. He completely missed that one. I'm sure they're there, but
no, I mean, the way we should be treating this linebacker situation right now is the less you hear their names, the better. Treat them like a lineman. The only time you hear a lineman's name is a thick six or a penalty. So either something really good or really bad. And so that's kind of the way I'm going about with these linebackers, where like you're not hearing much about them. Like you're not hearing the announcers being like, "Oh, if Dorian was out of place here, if he was here instead of here, this would have happened, and this and that." You're not hearing that kind of stuff. They're doing the sound fundamental things, which is all I think they're truly asking them to do. Attack downhill, sit in cover 3, take away the middle of the field. Just don't leave your zone. Please don't leave your zone, and let the guys behind you do their job. And I think that's just exactly what's going on. They're not asking them to do anything special. That's what Milano and Bernard are here for, to go do those special things. We're not getting the takeaways from the middle of the field, the fumbles and the interceptions that Milano and Bernard give us, but we're getting sound, good football right now. And that's all you can ask from these guys.
Yeah, 100% agree. And the more Spector plays, obviously, the more further along his development will be. And it's exciting to see these younger guys get in there. But, man, I am so ready for Taron Johnson and Milano, Bernard, all these guys to get back. Obviously, we know that Milano is probably not going to be back until December at the earliest, if at all. We still don't know that for sure. But yeah, it's been a lot of fun to watch. The only other guy that I kind of wanted to touch on a little bit was Cam Lewis. I think, I don't know about, you mentioned Taron Johnson was at practice but didn't participate. That's the other one that, to me, I think is a bigger deal, honestly, than even getting Bernard back, because Cam Lewis has not played well. The first game against the Dolphins, against Arizona, he played really well. Since then, not so much. So we need to get Johnson back in there as soon as we can, especially, too bad it can't happen this game. Do you think or have any concerns with Cam Lewis in this position as a starting nickel? Because Buffalo's not going to come out of that starting nickel, even against Derrick Henry and Lamar Jackson.
I haven't had an issue so far. I mean, I don't think Cam Lewis has played poorly. I don't think he's played phenomenal, but I don't think he's done a bad job. And he's definitely gotten more physical. And like that's one thing I've noticed between this year and years past is he's a lot more physical. Like he looks meaner when he's trying to make a tackle than when he's trying to make a play. And that's what I like. And that's a big thing on Terran is that's how he plays. So he's a linebacker in a corner's body is what everybody says. And that's kind of like what I'm looking at with Cam Lewis, to where like he's trying to just emulate Taron Johnson and just be more physical and, be a little bit more hard nosed going downhill. He's never been and is never going to be the world's best coverage guy, which is what makes Taron special, is he can do both.
Yeah.
But he hasn't really blown any coverage this year that I can recall anyway, right off the top of my head. But it's never a bad thing getting Taron Johnson back. I mean, he's an all-pro, the best nickel corner in the league. He gets paid the big bucks for a reason. He's just so good at what he does, and I cannot wait to get him back. I having him, Rasul Douglas, and Christian Benford as your corners, that is hands down the best top 3 corners you can have on a team.
I think you can throw Ingram in there too. He's been playing exceptionally well.
Remember when everybody's like, "Oh, our corners suck. We have no depth at corner." And
yeah, I remember.
I gotta be honest. This show was like one of the few, if not the only, that was like, I think we're good. Like,
yeah,
I think we're gonna be okay. No, we got our 2 starting outsides, the 2 guys that can play behind them. One of them can also play nickel. Well, we also have a nickel nickel backup nickel corner who can play safety. And meanwhile, we have 2 starting safeties and 3 backups. That's fantastic. It's nice being proven right, isn't it, Ryan?
Yes, it is. We do enjoy being right around here. Before we move on, I want to get into the Baltimore game. Before we do that, let's hear a quick word from our sponsors.
Hey, this is John from Game On Video Games and Sports Memorabilia. We are Rochester's premier trading card store. We have a wide selection of trading cards, autographs, and memorabilia. We also do autograph and celebrity appearances in the store. So if you're looking for the perfect gift for yourself, relative that doesn't like the Bills, or for a friend, come down and check us out at our Rochester location, 2670 Dewey Avenue, or our Hamburg location at 1 Buffalo Street. Go Bills.
So the Ravens-Bills game, we're going to start with John Roberts' question here. Do you think they will spy Lamar? My personal opinion is they're going to do what they've always done in the past against Baltimore, because it has always worked. They always have played well against Lamar Jackson and the Ravens. The difference this year is Derrick Henry, even though I think Henry is latter part of his career, and I don't think he's quite as explosive as he once was. I don't know his numbers, but the games that I have seen him play in, I haven't been, like, oh my gosh, there's Derrick Henry, he's back. But what do you think the expectation is as far as the Bills' defense? Do you expect somebody to maybe spy them, or how do you think they'll handle that?
I mean, that's what Milano's done every time we've played the Ravens, is he's been the spy. And it's worked out pretty good because Milano is just fast enough and just good enough to read and react to Lamar Jackson. That's going to be the test. And this is going to be a good test for Dorian. I mean, this is what was the key on him when he was coming out of college. He's young, he's athletic, and he can run. And he loves being twitchy downhill. So that's exactly the type of person you want covering Lamar Jackson, who he's great at reading the run. He's great at reading cuts, finding a hole and filling the gap. And I think, I bet she's probably faster than Milano. So I'm very excited to see Dorian spy him, because Spector's just not fast enough. And I just don't think he is. And I think they want him more in the middle of the field.
The Spector can get up a move, though. He's a good athlete still, but I agree. I think this is going to be a big game for Dorian Williams. We need him to really. He doesn't have to be the guy, because I think Buffalo's done a good job so far this year of getting multiple hats to the ball. But there's going to be moments, there's going to be situations where he's going to be one-on-one with Lamar Jackson, and he's going to have to make the play. I do remember the last time we played the Ravens, it was Milano, and Jackson just about broke his ankles. So he did
break his ankles. I think they're still on the field.
Yeah, Milano is susceptible to some of those Lamar Jackson runs. So I don't expect Williams to go out there and be perfect against Jackson,
No.
but just keep him contained. Don't let him break off runs time after time, and like he often does against other teams. Again, I don't know what it is about the Bills defense, McDermott's game plan, whatever it is. They've always done a really good job against the Ravens, whether it's regular season, postseason. I don't think the Ravens have beaten Buffalo since like maybe Allen's rookie year. I can't remember exactly how long ago it was, but it's been a minute.
So it's because it's a good matchup for us. It's a good matchup for us defensively when we're healthy because we have Milano. Check. That's Lamar Jackson problem. Check. Or Lamar Jackson running problem. Check. We have two fantastic corners. They have one good wide receiver, Zay Flowers. They have Mark Andrews, who he ran 3 routes last week. Who the hell knows what they're doing with Mark Andrews? Maybe he's still dealing with an injury and it's like from that car accident and it's just lingering. Isaiah Likely hasn't really done anything special. I understand he had that week 1 game, but if you didn't watch that game, you just saw the stat line. Those throws were like 3-yard dump offs. He was just a check down guy and he just made guys miss after the catch. So that it's just a good matchup for us defensively. Our strength goes against their weakness and throwing the football. So if we can just key in on stopping the run, then we should be okay. And the Ravens don't know how to play with a lead. So that's the best part.
Which is strange because their style is built for a lead in holding it.
Right. I mean, think about the last time we played them. We were down 20-3 at halftime. And you were texting like this game's over. I hate this and rah, 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 rah. And next thing you know, touchdown, interception by Lamar Jackson, touchdown. It's so weird. I feel like ever since that game, I've kind of had a side eye to the Ravens, and I feel like they do it all the time. I remember the Miami game last year, and the Bills game, and now the 2 games already this year. It's like, what is Harbaugh doing?
Yeah, I want to go back to the Isaiah Likely thing because I'm sure you've seen it. We do fantasy football. There are games where he pops for whatever reason. He's not consistent though. I think we can agree on that. I do think that if there is a game that maybe he could be an issue, it would be a game like this.
Yeah.
The Ravens do not have the outside threats to challenge our secondary. They just don't. Christian Benford is playing quite honestly, one of the best corners in football. I think I saw somewhere, I haven't confirmed this, but I saw earlier today, I think on social media, that PFF has him ranked at number 2 in the league. And I wish I could break down more of the DVOA type stats. Unfortunately, there's not a lot of player individual stats for stuff like that because in PFF, we've talked about their grading is kind of, sometimes it's like, what are they looking at? But so I think Isaiah Likely, if there was a game where he could kind of maybe go off a little bit, this would be it. We got our backup linebackers. We've got young safeties who are, they're playing well. I don't think, talking about the safeties, I kind of want to see Cole Bishop in this one more than we've been seeing. He's been playing well. He's been making plays when he's in there. The athleticism is off the charts compared to any other safety.
But who are you taking out?
Either one of the other 2 safeties. We'll probably Rapp, honestly.
Rapp isn't going anywhere.
Maybe he should.
Why? There's nothing wrong. Ronnie, don't break something that's not broken. Let it be. Everything is working fine right now.
Yeah, but it could be better.
You don't know that. Better. Stop. You don't know that.
I've seen enough of Bishop on the field now, so I do think it would be better. We'd be better with him on the field.
We've seen about 27 snaps compared to 3 full games from the other safeties. I would much rather slow roll him and build him up. And like, obviously he's healthy now, but I would much rather slow roll him and have him, he's clearly the third safety. And then if an injury pops up, then fine. Like more than happy to have him come in. If not, just let this thing play out. DeMar and Hamlin, they're playing DeMar and Hamlin. DeMar and Rapp are playing well. Like they're playing well right now. So like let him, let those guys just do it. I mean, DeMar's on a 1-year deal. This is his last year of his deal. If he plays well, he's going to earn a contract from somebody because Cole Bishop, pretty much no matter what, will be the starting safety next year. Taylor Rapp, they signed to an extension last year. He's going, like, if he just stays on the same trajectory he's on right now, yeah, he will be the other starting safety next year. So DeMar will be the odd guy out next year. So I think that you just kind of let this thing just play out naturally. Whatever happens, happens. But I don't think there's any reason to bench just because you want to see the rookie.
It's not just because I want to see the rookie on the field. It's because I want his athleticism on the field. The NFL offenses are full of athletic freaks, and he is one of them. I love DeMar Hamlin, Taylor Rapp. I've just, while I haven't been disappointed, I haven't been disappointed in them. I haven't been like, oh my gosh, they're really good. You can get that with Bishop. I don't think by putting him on the field, you're going to lose much, if anything. I really don't. You're going to gain that athleticism and that speed, though.
I would much rather just keep the guys that have held, these first three teams to a combined, like an average of 16 points or something like that. And
yeah, I get that. I get that, but
two offenses that are pretty good. We've seen what Marvin Harrison Jr. has done since playing Buffalo. And, we all know what Miami can do. They can hang 70 on a team, and that team can have the best corner in the league.
Not with Skylar Thompson, they're not.
And no, but before they had 3 quarters to do it, and they couldn't do it.
Yeah, I get it. I know. I just,
if it ain't broke,
I
don't
want faster defenses. I like speed on the defensive side. Let's move on.
We also play a lot of zones, so we don't need as much speed. Yes, moving on.
Yeah, but anyways. So let's just jump into kind of the next thing here. I think we beat up the defense already. Let's talk about the offensive side of the ball. What are your expectations? What do you hope to see or think we might see?
I think we're just going to see more of the same. I'm scared of Matabike. They signed him to a big extension this past offseason, and he hasn't played, he hasn't done insanely well. Like he's not super eye popping, but he's ramping up, and I'm just afraid that this could be the game to where everything clicks for him and he absolutely just destroys our offensive line. But I think that this is going to be another game for Josh to go out and kind of sling it. I mean, they have Kyle Hamilton, in my opinion, the best safety in the league. He is phenomenal.
Yeah, second to Cole Bishop.
Yeah, exactly. And like Marlon Humphrey, I never understood why Marlon Humphrey was never absolutely amazing. He had all the abilities, and it just seems like whenever he gets matched up against somebody really, really good, he doesn't show up. So I think that, like, not that we have anybody that, a top 5 wide receiver anymore, but we have enough variance to where their defense just isn't going to know what's going on. And they lost Patrick Queen. To me, that was huge. Last year he was an absolute monster in the middle of that defense for them. So they have Roquan Smith, one of the best linebackers in the league, Kyle Hamilton, Marlon Humphrey. But other than that, they don't have anything like amazing. You know what I'm saying? Like they're kind of, it's kind of like the Dolphins. They've got, they had Christian Wilkins. They had Jalen Ramsey. They have Javon Holland. But it's like, but other than that, what do you got? The Rams. We have Aaron Donald and Jalen Ramsey, the 2 best of their position, hands down. They still
Ramsey's overrated.
Well, no, now, but I'm saying like when he was on the Rams and like it was he and Donald
Okay.
and it was the highlight era, like they were like still giving up 24, 27 points a game because two guys don't make a defense.
Yeah.
And like I don't know. This Ravens team is very interesting to me. This is a big game for them. So if they go to 1-3, that sucks. 1-3 is a lot different than 2-2. A lot
It is.
different.
It is. It is different. I don't know that this Ravens team honestly is. I mean, on paper, when you first look at them, you go through the list of their players. Last year, they were one of the top defenses. This year, they haven't been playing so well. It doesn't feel like their receivers are all that great. However, I'm going to use this kind of a segue into my latest analytical top 10 rankings. The Ravens come in at number 9, despite the 1-2 record. The stats, the analytics, the advanced analytics say they're playing well. So, which is interesting because there was a couple of other teams that when I did this for after week 3 kind of stood out, and that was the Bengals. Haven't won a game yet, but they were, I can't remember where they stood, but they were top 15, I believe, overall. Actually ranked ahead of the Chiefs, believe it or not. So, Chiefs came in at 18th, and I think that's hilarious, but at the same time, kind of scary, right? Because if they're not playing well, yet they're still winning, what happens when they start playing well?
Well, yeah, that's
Or will
when
they? Is this
that
the Chiefs? Is this who we have with the Chiefs this year?
that's just been the adage. It's they haven't played well, they've still won 3 games. That sucks for the rest of the NFL. Because those were 3 games that like the league could have wiped off them and really given the rest of the AFC a big jump start ahead of them. Instead, they didn't, and now the Chiefs are going to go out and chief again.
Yeah. I looking at it, so I had the Bengals at 16, just outside of the top 15. Kansas City was 18. I'll give anybody a guess out there, Casey. Who's the dead last? Who ranked last in this?
All right, let me think about who was terrible.
You got a lot of options.
Were they in the top 10 last week?
No.
Okay.
No, so it wasn't the Patriots.
See, there goes my guess.
The
I don't know.
Patriots, they did fall quite a bit, though. I think let me go find it again. Where did they go to? Yeah, they dropped all the way down to 22. And that's the thing with these rankings. When you use the analytics, the DVOAs, the EPA per play, and all of those things, the larger the sample size, the more accurate they become. So, yeah, there's going to be a lot of movement, in some cases anyways, with this stuff. The Saints, for example, offense did not look that great on Sunday. Defense still played well, but yet, analytically speaking, they're still the number 1 team.
I mean, yeah. Look how they played the first 2 games, and they barely lost this game. To in my opinion, a good Eagles team. I mean, once they added Saquon Barkley, that was like icing on the cake. There's no excuses for their offense.
Yeah. Mike says it's the Dolphins. You are so close. Miami is second to last, which again, I love that. I'm sorry if you're a Dolphins fan and you happen to be listening, which you're probably not. We don't like the Dolphins around here. We want them to lose.
The suspense is killing us. Who's last?
It's Carolina still.
Yeah, see, I thought that was too easy.
Yeah.
And I figured Andy Dalton going full Tom Brady might have shook it up a little bit.
Yeah, that was wild to watch that. Yeah, so just really quick, I'll round out the top 10. Number 1 was the Saints, followed by the Bills, Vikings, Chargers, Seahawks, Niners, Steelers, Packers, Ravens, and the Jets rounded out the top 10. Undefeated teams still remaining, Buffalo and the Steelers, Chiefs, Vikings, Seahawks. So interestingly enough, the Chiefs are the only undefeated team not in this top 10. What does that mean? Other than, oh crap, when they start playing well, the league might be in trouble. But, I mean, we've seen the Chiefs start out like this before, except lose games. I remember a couple of years ago, they started out, I think, 2-3. Obviously, they won a Super Bowl. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with them. I'm not saying that this is the Chiefs that we have. The 2024 version is who they are. But it just looks different watching them. Patrick Mahomes looks different when I watch their games. Travis Kelce has been non-existent. I don't know if that's by design. I don't know if it's that he just can't do it anymore. I have a hard time believing the defenses are shading coverage towards him because defenses have been doing that for years and cannot stop him. So I don't know what to think of that or make of the Chiefs right now. But what do you think is going on over there with their offense and specifically Travis Kelce and Mahomes?
To be honest, I haven't watched enough of them really to have an opinion as to why it could possibly be going on. I mean, he's got a lot going on, man. He's got the #1 podcast in the world. He's dated the most popular person in the world. He plays for the 2-time Super Bowl champs. He's one of the most famous players in the NFL. I mean, it's and he's 34, 33, however old he is. Like it's at this point, like, yeah, you are a little tired. He's still Travis Kelce, though. I have zero doubt that he and Patrick Mahomes are gonna light it up, and I have so much faith in that. Is that I'm gonna go out and I'm gonna start trying to trade for him out in fantasy leagues because I think he's a really good buy low candidate right now.
Yeah, that could be a definitely good move. I told my wife the other day that I believe that Kelsey's problem this year is he's absolutely wore out from putting Taylor Swift on the map.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's not forget he has to sign the prenup.
Right? Yeah. Let's get back to the game. There was well, let's just jump into the bold predictions, I guess, at this point. We talked about the offense and defense and kind of what we're expecting and want to see there. Let's get into bold, which, by the way, if you watched last week in our bold predictions, we were pretty much spot on. I think we missed, we said that Josh Allen would have 300 plus. We missed that by like 30 yards.
33 yards short, and Mike called Kincaid touchdown in the fourth quarter, not the first. But you still called 3 passing touchdowns. Josh did have 300 total yards.
Yeah.
Kincaid scored his first touchdown. I called Keon Coleman scoring his first touchdown. Like it was pretty impressive for a couple of freaking dummies.
It was very much so. So let's get into our bold predictions this week, and I'll let you start with this one. Do we want to bring Mike in here for the rest of this? And
yeah, let's do it.
Mike's throwing up his hands. He's like, "What?
Is he coming or?"
There he is.
More on
Mike.
What's up, guys?
All right.
All right.
So my bold prediction is that the Bills will give up a 40-yard rush this weekend.
Bonus points to who?
Nope.
No.
Nope. I'm calling it.
Hill.
The Bills are giving up a 40-yard rush between Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry. They both always have one long run against us. They always break one play. So I'm going to say that the Bills give up one 40-yard rush. I'm not going to say it's a 40-yard touchdown or it's going to be an 80-yard run. No, at some point I bet you there's a 40-yard run in there somewhere. Because again, okay, we have these young linebackers, trying to cover these two the best backfield in the league. Running backfield.
The Bills have the best backfield in the league. Like, honestly. Josh Allen, James Cook, Ray Davis.
I'm talking like just straight up 1-2. Like 1-2, like quarterback, running back, I mean.
Yeah, I got you. Even that. Okay, we'll save that for next week's show, actually. Let's do that because I want to talk more about that. That's a good topic.
That is a good topic.
And I'm going to ask social media to answer the question as well. I want to talk more about that. All right, so what else you got? Is that
That's it. That's my bold prediction.
All right, Mike, you got one for us?
Oh man, I was hoping you wouldn't call on me because I've been struggling with this. But if I'm gonna go bold, I'm gonna go your boy Shakir. I'm gonna say he either gets his 100-yard game or he gets 2 touchdowns.
I could see that.
Okay.
I could.
I like
Or I
it
was going to
'cause-
say Ray Davis is going to get a receiving touchdown, but I'm going bold with the Shakir.
So
You know
100 yards or 2 touchdowns. All right.
Yeah.
or he said right?
Or.
Yeah,
Not
It
both.
could be
Yeah.
both.
Yeah,
It could be
right.
both.
If
I'm
he
fine with
if
it.
he
You wanna
gets
go both?
if he gets both, he's wrong.
I'll be whatever. One or the other. Yeah.
One or the other. Okay. That's interesting because mine was actually Khalil Shakir getting his first 100-yard game. So, so you stole that one from me, and that's fine.
I'll go with the 2 tutties.
So really quick, so John says he wants to see Vaughn get another sack.
He will.
And John also says Greg Rousseau is due for a sack as well. It's been a minute. Rousseau hasn't had a sack since week 1. Vaughn's gotten 1 each game. Both have 3, lead the team.
Groot should have 3.5 because that sack that Jamarcus Ingram got, he got because yes, he and Cam Lewis rushed, but Groot got penetration on that, and he's the one that got Lawrence's legs while Ingram came and tackled him down. That I saw it and I was like, I was like, nobody's giving him any credit for that. I was like, he definitely deserves half that sack.
Yeah, but they didn't. I'm going to throw this one up there. You guys can talk about this. Shakir has 27 passes consecutively. I got to think of a bold prediction, but the 27 straight is correct, but it is not correct. So it depends on how you look at this. He has 14 consecutive catches this year. If you go back to last season, the last, I believe, 2, maybe 3 weeks of the season, he caught every target. So he has 27 straight. He gets 1 more, he'll break the all-time record set by Michael Thomas. Well, all time since they started tracking targets, which I believe was 1991 or 93. However, if you include the playoff games, he was 7 of 9 in the last playoff game. So it's a cool stat, but I don't know how valid it is. If you
see,
Yeah.
I don't like that kind of stuff where you accumulate back to last year. To me, it's like clean slate. Which to
baseball
him
does the same way. Like hitting streak can go from one season to the next.
Yeah, but if he does it, like I'll applaud it. Like that's cool.
Yeah, you have to. I think honestly it makes it more impressive because you've got such a long break between them and you still continue to do it.
Right.
It makes me think of the Larry Fitzgerald stat when he had more tackles than drops.
Yeah, that's insane.
That's wild.
That would be one of them. That's so. Also speaks of the shitty quarterback play he had.
Didn't he have Warner for a while? And Carson Palmer? He had some decent quarterbacks.
He had the end of Carson Palmer and the end of Kurt Warner.
Still, they were better than a J.P. Lossman in his prime.
But that was for like a total of 4 years out of like the 15 he played.
Yeah, he played a long time. I'm still a little mad at him. Not Fitzgerald. Bolden was the other one. I'm mad at him for, the whole thing with the Bills. All right, bold prediction. I guess I'll pivot a little bit, and instead of going with Kincaid with Khalil with his first 100-yard game, I'll go with Kincaid. Kincaid gets his first 100-yard game.
All right, that'd be amazing.
My fantasy team would love it.
Mine would too, at least a couple of them.
Mine would as well.
Let's get into prime time games. We've got 4 of them to pick from. I wish I would have put together our records up to this point, but I completely forgot about doing that, so I'll have to do that. And then Monday we can kind of share that. So the first one tonight, Cowboys at the Giants. Mike, who are you taking?
I'm going back to Little Giants, man. I want to see the Giants beat the Cowboys. So I'm going to call the Giants. But it's unlikely, but
I mean, it's not like the Cowboys have been.
I do think they could.
All that great, right?
Right. I'll take the Cowboys.
Okay. Yeah, me too.
You guys want to bet?
Nope.
Sure.
Not too much.
There you go.
We'll talk
What?
later.
Water bet.
Okay. The next one, the Sunday night game. We've got
Buffalo.
We'll talk about that one in a minute. So let's go to the Monday night game. It's another doubleheader, quote unquote.
Tennessee
got
and the Dolphins.
What is that? Who?
Titans, Dolphins.
Yeah. What a gross game. What a gross game.
That is terrible. Terrible, terrible. I'll start with this one. I'm going to take the Dolphins on it.
I will as well.
Titans.
I don't blame you. I really don't.
I think that's more likely than the Giants winning, but
100%. The Titans defense has played well. They have the Dolphins have Tyler Huntley playing quarterback.
Yeah, they're not in great shape right now.
With the Titans, but Will Levis freaking sucks.
He has moments, though.
He might have a good game.
So did Jamarcus Russell.
No, Russell never had a moment.
He better eat an extra banana peel and put an extra mayo in the coffee and then go to work.
Right.
Okay. Next one, Seahawks at Detroit. Casey, who are you going?
What a game.
Yeah, that one's going to be a good one.
I'm going to take Detroit.
No, Seahawks are undefeated. Detroit's 2-1.
Correct. I'm going to take Detroit.
Okay. Mike?
Same.
Oh, man. Yeah, same. I'm gonna go with the home team on this one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm sticking to that. All right. So that's the primetime games, with the exception, of course, of the Sunday night games. So, of course, we've got to talk about our score predictions. What's the line right now on this game? I mean, we're not favored, which is weird to me.
I believe it's Ravens 2.5, which means it's less. Which means technically we are favored because you get an automatic 3 points at home.
Right. I don't gamble, but I know that part. That's all I know about it.
I'm checking right now. We really need to get like a betting app sponsor. I'd appreciate that a lot.
Yeah, good luck with that.
I'm looking. Yeah,
listening.
Bills plus 2.5.
Okay.
So it's changed?
No.
Oh, no. I got you. What's the spread?
2.5.
Yeah.
No, I mean the
over under.
Over under. Sorry.
46.5. Yeah, I was right. 46.5.
Would you take the over on that or under?
I'm taking the over.
I'm going over.
I'll just say it right now. I'm gonna go 30-17 Buffalo.
Okay.
Half a point over.
It's over.
What you said 30?
30-17 Buffalo.
I think Buffalo scored over 30 every game, right?
Yep.
They're averaging over 30, yeah.
Yeah, they got 31 against the they got 38 against the Cardinals, didn't they? Or is it 34?
Yeah. 38.
And then 34 against the Dolphins. Jeez.
And then 47.
So they're averaging over 30, probably 38?
They're making me nervous.
It's like 32.7 or something like that.
That doesn't sound right.
It don't matter. It don't matter.
Does.
No, it don't matter.
Well, okay. Do this, Mike. Pull up the schedule, double check the scores, and give me an average really quick. Well, let me do my prediction.
I have the average. Our points per game is 37.3.
Okay, 37. I was gonna say, yeah, you said 32. I was like, that doesn't sound right. 37 points a game, and the Ravens are not playing great defense right now.
And they're averaging 23.7 a game.
All right, I want to change mine. I want to go 30-20. No, I want to go 30-20 Bills.
30. Oh, you're okay. 30-20.
30-20.
Anybody know what Baltimore's allowing right now?
I looked it up.
Ronnie. Oh my God.
I'm stalling.
Don't make me do it.
Oh
Because I'll just keep looking up stats.
I know. That's why I'm saying, my God, let's go.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm ready with my score.
Oh, go for it.
I'm saying Bills are winning 24-31. sticking with the 1-score games.
Okay. I'm going to give 38 to the Bills. And I think Allen is going to have a day with that secondary. And this one's tough because they have not given up. I'm not going to ask you guys to do the math for me, but they haven't given up a lot. I'm going to say 17. 38-17. There's my blowout of the year that I have yet to predict.
Come on, Ron.
Can't wait for us to lose now because of that.
By the way, the Ravens opponents are averaging 26.
Okay. Yeah, I'm comfortable with that. 38-17.
Mm-hmm.
All right, boys. We did it. Got another show in the books.
Another show in the books. We'll be back. I almost said Thursday, but it is Thursday. So we'll see you all on Monday. Break down the game. Looking forward to it. You guys have a great weekend. You got anything else you want to add?
Screw the Dolphins. Go Bills.
Always. Go Bills.
I like it. Go Bills. We'll see you all next week.
Tell your friends.